Hey, yo, mic check, 1 2 1 2. What's going on with y'all, man? What's happening? If you've been rocking with me, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. It's your dread-headed host with yet another dose, keeping you engrossed from coast to coast. That's right. Now, let's talk about this My Hero movie. For those of you who are maybe concerned, you don't want to get spoiled, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. So get that out the way right here. I'm going to put up a spoiler review on a whole nother video. This is just going to be my thoughts on the movie in case you're on the fence. Wanted to get some kind of review criticism. I know people are curious. Maybe you are. Maybe you don't care what I have to say. But if you didn't, why are you here? Anyways, no spoilers here. We're just going to talk about the movie. I'm only going to talk about, in terms of plot points, things that you may have seen in the trailer. So don't be alarmed. First and foremost, if you have the opportunity, I urge everyone to go see this movie in the theater. Treat yourself. The sound design and the animation for this movie is incredible. I'm not to say you won't get satisfaction out of seeing it on a smaller screen if you have to watch it on TV, your phone, whatever. But seeing it in the theater, with as wide a screen that is, with the full surround sound, that's a whole different experience in and of itself. So, if you can, go do it. Treat yourself to that. Now, first things first. The plot of this movie, very simple, okay? You have the villain known as Nine, who, as we've seen from the trailers, has the ability to steal quirks. He's not unlike All for One. Not on that same tier of power, but definitely a threat. Alright, our main characters, we follow Class 1A pretty much exclusively through this whole movie. They've been assigned to this small island off the coast of the mainland where they're performing just small hero duties for a lot of mostly non-violent things on an island where there's really no crime. The movie opens up, we have the confrontation between Endeavor, the heroes, and the League of Villains who have stolen a truck full of unknown cargo. Alright, that scene is amazing. It's the first time we get to see Endeavor use a certain technique that I'm pretty sure we have not seen in the anime. So if you've been reading the manga, you're going to see this, you're going to look like I did and be like, oh my god, there it is. If you haven't read the manga, you're going to see that movie and be like, oh my god, there it is. Either way, great opening scene, really gets the pace going, and the movie kind of picks up from there. Our main antagonist ends up meeting up with his group of villains. They get on the move. Alright, meanwhile, Class 1A is performing their duties on this island. Pretty much, there are no pro heroes on the island with them to chaperone this trip. They're pretty much all on their own in that regard. So, the main villain is in search of a certain quirk that will allow his body to be maintained, because of course, since he's just a knockoff All for One, there has to be a drawback, right? So his issue there is that he needs a certain quirk so that he doesn't succumb to anime tuberculosis. I say anime tuberculosis because it's never explicitly said what it is, but you guys know what I'm talking about. When that one OP anime character ultimately meets their demise from some unknown disease where they cough up blood, probably tuberculosis. Now, while they're on the island, one of the first things that happens, we're introduced to two characters, and I will get more into these two characters, but one thing I'm going to put on wax right now, Katsuma, best boy 2020. No cap, don't at me, he was amazing. Not going to get too much into that. Go check out the spoiler review for a little bit more detail. If you see the movie, you'll understand why he's best boy. Anyway, Katsuma and his sister Mahiro. Mahiro represents someone who is critical of the hero society, so you have that interpersonal conflict there. Whereas Katsuma, the young boy, Mahiro, his sister, Katsuma, the young boy, he wants to grow up to be someone like a hero, someone that can protect people. So you have those two dueling ideologies in these two characters, which is fleshed out throughout the movie in a very cool way, obviously alongside our main protagonist Deku and the other heroes, and how their journey is going to now impact them. Seeing the maturity of these characters from where they were in the anime from the beginning till now, the movie does a great job with advancing that. Every character in Class 1A gets some shine in this movie. Even characters who we usually don't see too much of, like Mineta or even Kaminari, they get the shine in this movie too. Everyone's abilities are showcased perfectly. With a show like this, with a show like My Hero Academia, and you're making this into a movie especially, one of the drawbacks you're going to run into is how do I balance all these characters? I write 20 characters, and while they're not all main characters, I do want them all to be well established and well represented. It's a task. A lot of anime you'll watch, they'll have a main cast of maybe 4 or 5 characters at most. But they went for it here, and they executed perfectly. I feel like in the last movie, there may have been a little bit, we did see all of the characters, but we definitely didn't really get a showcase. In this movie, all that is fixed, everyone gets to shine. The villain's interaction with Class 1A, everyone gets tested. The action in the movie picks up pretty much right away. I mean, after the opening scene, you get the establishment of the characters and what's going on, but then we pick up into it. The pacing of this movie is very well done. All right, I never got bored. When they do have to stop and slow things down to give you some information, to give you some plot, it's not a wasted moment. There's character development there. So I really, really appreciate that. If you are a fan of character development, this is a movie for you. And the interactions that we have with the villains themselves, outside of the main villain, you have Slice, who is the villain who is kind of like Medusa from the Inhumans, if you're familiar with her ability of her hair being able to gain density and slice through things. Mummy, who has the ability to take control of the cloth in your clothing and control people or inanimate objects with the cloth in his clothing. Chimera, who his name pretty much speaks for his abilities himself. He has the abilities of multiple different animals and how those enhance his strength, his mobility, his durability. All of them very well fleshed out. Save for maybe one of them. I would say arguably we don't get a whole lot of Mummy, but he was arguably the least interesting of the bunch, so what can you do? Even the climax of this movie, which again I'm not going to spoil anything, but the climax of this movie is so well animated. It's so well, the music, the sound design, again, with that surround sound coming from wall to wall, you feel every impact of that fight. You feel the intensity of the battle. You feel the desperation of the characters with expressions on their faces. I mean, it is phenomenal. Well done. I would say if I was going to rate this movie out of 10, me personally, I'm giving it a 9. Hard 9. Maybe even a 9.5. I don't know if the movie was perfect. The way that the movie wraps up, the way that it ends, for me, could have been a little bit better. And we'll talk about that more in the spoiler discussion. But it was a satisfying ending. One thing, too, is that the movie isn't canon. And I know there's a huge debate about what is canon and what's not canon and what the importance of canon. I would classify the movie, if I was going to say it, as fake canon. If you've been watching the show, I could place where it may fit in, and because of how the movie ends and the consequences and all of that, it could work. You could say this movie happened in the canon of the show, but at the same time, it does beg the question of why, if it was fully canon, didn't they mention some of these other things earlier on? But yeah, take that as you. Either way, I would say it's a must watch. But hey, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you saw the movie, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Let's get some conversation going about that. Hey, no spoilers on this one in the comments. Put the spoilers on the spoiler video, all right? But let's have this conversation. If you've been rocking with me this long, thank you, and I will catch you on the next one.